Hello and welcome to GrindslimeTV with me, your host Aaron. You guys asked for it and I delivered. I've got out 10 possibly overlooked brutal death metal bands from my personal collection. Now before we get into them, yeah, I think a few here may have been on the channel before, shown in videos, but we'll go through them again anyway, and I'll try and get those ones out the way first. But yeah, before we get into it, I know there's going to be a few people in the comments saying, well, that's not really brutal death metal, and that one's not overlooked. I've heard of that one. This one's not obscure. Number one, I really don't care. And second of all, actually, I don't need a second of all, because the first one was so bloody good. So, let's get into it. And I even got out the Dissing Tomb cap for the occasion. How you like that, eh? Look at it. Look at it. And what's funny is, this and Tomb aren't even on this list, because as you guys know, these guys are pretty popular. So, let's have a little looky-loo. So, to start off, we have, and this is in no particular order either, so don't worry too much, but one that's been on the channel before, for sure, from Nicaragua, we're talking about Flesh Torture. Oh yeah, absolutely. Banging record, The Stench of Humanity. An absolutely fantastic record from like 2011, I think it was. This came out. This is pretty much your standard sort of a lo-fi, brutal death metal kind of stuff. And you know, pretty standard sort of awesomeness going on over here. And oh yeah, look, it's all about the mic cupping. Gotta love a bit of that. Now what we got here? And yeah. So we've got all this going on. Oh, there's the bass player there hiding on the side. Don't forget me. So that's always good fun. And what else have we got going on over here? Let's look at this artwork again. Very sort of reminiscent of Mortician's, is it the Skinner it's called or something? But yeah, we've got that guy there. Self-mutilating and whatnot. Really cool stuff. If you like your blast beats and whatnot, this will definitely scratch your itch, for sure. I've got 9 songs on here. Rolling in at around half an hour, so really cool stuff here. Some Brute Productions, yeah, 2011. Got this back when it came out as well, which is quite cool. I saw that artwork and that name and I thought, well, that sounds like something I'd enjoy. And of course, at that time, there wasn't any songs up online for me to check out by these guys. So I took the risk, as I had done many times in the years leading up to that point, and some years proceeding. And mate, it's been one of my favourites ever since. Really cool record. Always gets the blood pumping. The only thing it really lacks is bass. Yeah, it's got a bass player on it, of course. But yeah, it kind of falls flat in the mix. But at the same time, it's a very raw recording and it's very nicely done. So yeah. Oh, excuse me. It's been a long day. So, Flesh Torture. Boom. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. Now, let's head over to Indonesia, shall we? Now, I believe these guys are Indonesian. Well, they could be from the Philippines. I can't quite remember. Maybe that's the same place. I wouldn't know. I'm terrible at geography. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're talking about 10 tracks of straight up brutal death metal in a very catchy vein of, say, bands like Gorgasm and whatnot, but with that extra blasty goodness that you can expect to hear from bands like Disgorge and whatnot. And we are talking about Pus Vomit. Oh yeah. And their album Degrade the Worthless. 10 tracks of absolute nastiness. Oh yes. Gotta be done. And this is pretty much, oh yeah, Philippines. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. Yeah, so you get all your lyrics and stuff. Always cool. Sort of that handwritten, scratchy, scribbly. Which I always like, and kind of artwork is that. I don't know who did the artwork. Doesn't seem to say, but it looks like the kind of thing like at that around that sort of time, which this was like 2009, I believe. This came out. yeah, I can't even see. I don't even know. Yeah, who cares? But yeah, this came out some time ago now. But really, really cool stuff. But the artwork kind of looks like the sort of thing Mark Riddick or Mike Majewski might do, sort of thing. Or maybe it's just a someone else, but I don't know. Whoever it is, it's very, very cool. Got that whole thing going on there. And it's the same again on the CD. You got that kind of stuff. It's all very fancy and flash. Very, very nice. Yeah. Again, sort of standard brutal death metal going on, but very overlooked from what I understand. A lot of people I speak to about these bands, because that's something else as well. I'm literally going by my own experience. Most people I talk to about any of these bands don't seem to know who they are. So this is one of those sort of, as far as I'm concerned, they're underappreciated. But if you guys have heard of all of these, awesome. Good for you. That's wicked. But if you haven't, then hey, you've learnt something new, and yeah, so that's pretty cool. This was put out on Verdugo Records, and again, the date escapes me, but I think it was like 2009. I'm pretty sure it was around that kind of time. But yeah, definitely worth getting hold of and giving a listen. Oh yeah, both of these that I've shown so far. Well, this one's on Spotify and YouTube. This one, as far as I know, is just on YouTube. But it might be on Spotify. I don't know. We'll find out one day. But very cool, very fast, very violent. Has those nice breakdowns. But like I say, it's very much more in the sort of catchier vein than it is your straight up sort of technical madness. Now, from Indonesia, you may have seen me wearing the long sleeve of this 2013 record, and this is this self-transform from decayed flesh by Asphyxiate. Now this is the only try and get a bit more look on that artwork there. If you get a bit more, you can see a sort of face there. It's like a big old monster made of like vines and shit and like tendrils and whatnot. Now all of Asphyxiate stuff is good, but this is the one that I really, really like. This is the one I've always. This is the one that got me into them, and it was many years before they put out anything after this. But it's no, this is an absolutely fantastic record. I've always thoroughly enjoyed this. This was off of New Standard Elite, I believe. Yeah, it was, and yeah, 2013. And I bought this along with the long sleeve as like a little bundle type thing that they did. You've got this sort of artwork there again on the Ujima flip and in the tray as well. And there you go, all around there. Now this one has a bit more of a slamming edge to it, but it's not a slam album by any stretch of the imagination. It's definitely your sort of brutal death metal, very much in the vein of sort of trying to think now. Well, it's very New Standard Elite, let's put it that way. But you know, very, very cool stuff. Got a much a cleaner production than the last two records, which are both very raw. But this one, even still, it's not overproduced by any stretch of the imagination. It's still got a very nice kind of a raw kind of sound. So doesn't sound computerized or anything, as I personally think a lot of bands on New Standard Elite tend to. But that's down to them. It's not a problem with New Standard Elite, is it? It's down to the bands and the whatnot. But you know, it is what it is. So definitely worth getting a hold of. If you just, I don't know, just throw a dart at a bunch of sort of stuff like early old school Condemned, stuff like that. Got a bit of that going on in there. Just trying to think of some other bands off the top of my head. It's always weird. As soon as the camera starts rolling, you try thinking of something and it just doesn't come to you. It doesn't come to mind easy. But yeah, you know, it's got some of that sort of also like Unleash the Carnivore era of sort of development going on as well. Again, not a clone. So I don't know any of these, oh, listen to it, it sounds nothing like that album. It's got wrecking, right? So yeah, really, really cool stuff here. So you've got 9 tracks, really cool stuff. I think it's about 29 minutes this bad boy runs for, something like that. But no, really, really cool. Definitely worth your time. Now let's try and speed this up. I've already taken 10 minutes, fucking hell. Now, out of Italy, we have got Blasphemer. Very cool sort of a technical, brutal death metal. Really cool bass stuff going on. And this is from Comatose Music, so you know it's going to be good. This is their EP, Devouring Deception. 5 songs in 12 minutes, which is what we all love to hear. And again, anything by Blasphemer that I've heard so far has been really, really good. But this and their first album are the best ones. And like their first album as well, I mean, it's a bit weird at one point because it has like it plays like the Godfather theme tune for like a while as an intro to a song. And it's like, okay, kind of a tonal shift. But that aside, really, really cool. But that's why I pulled out this one instead. So we get a go on this one, because this is just your straight up brutal death, straight through, you know, and it was done at a Brutal Dave's home studio. Oh, yes, not that he's a member on this or anything, but let's have a look here. We got yeah, but yeah, Brutal Dave from like, you know, Ex Putridity and like session with like Tetragrammaticide, etc., loads of bands. But fantastic drummer. So this was recorded at his gaff. Just inside the thing, you've got your lyrics there. Look, some birds or bats flying around, like giving it all that, some sort of weird winged creatures. But yeah, if you like blast beats, technical guitar riffs, cool bass parts, but also those sort of, again, kind of maybe old school pathology or maybe like early Discord USA kind of sounding riffs thrown in there with some really cool gutturals and like screams and shit. Can't go wrong with a bit of Blasphemer. Really, really good. Cannot get enough. Now, out of now where were these guys from again? Oh shit, I looked up all of them beforehand as well, but who even knows anymore. But yeah, we've got another one here on Comatose Music. And this, I believe, where do these guys come from? Oh, I think this is Spain, actually, if I remember right. Yes, Spain. So out of Spain, we have got Strapado. Oh yeah. Let me get that booklet out for you. And this is their album, Exigit Sinceri Devotionis Effectus. So good luck remembering that. But you got 10 tracks here of some really cool sort of broader Quinn worship. Really, really cool. You know, all the songs again, you know, it's like The Rack, Plastered Anus, Holy Office, you know, Death by Sawing, 20 Fingers. You know, it's all very sort of a medieval torture kind of feel to it. You know, you've got the sort of Inquisition there on the front and whatnot doing their thing. But yeah, really, really cool record. This one really, like, it's not a clone of Brother Quinn, but it's definitely a lot of worship going on in there. From straight away, as soon as it comes on, you're like, yeah, I know what these guys are into. I mean, their band's called Strapado. You know, they're named after a torture device exactly the same as Brother Quinn. So, really, really cool record. All about the speed. When it slows down, it does so with purpose. Doesn't just drag out like long riffs to be like, oh, we've got a really, really cool 2-minute song, but we want it to be a mediocre 3-minute song. None of that bullshit. No, this is the real deal. Like I say, 10 tracks there, about half hour, maybe less, maybe a bit under half hour, maybe a little bit over. But yeah, Comatose Music, once again, smashing another great band out. Really worth your time, Strapado. And yeah, this is up on Spotify and as is they're on Spotify too, and probably YouTube. This is on Spotify as well as YouTube. In fact, all of these are on YouTube, but not all of them are on Spotify. Now, coming up next from Argentina, a band that is sadly no longer together, which is a shame because they are really, really cool, and that is Espermeragia. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, cool artwork. I love stuff like that. And this was cool. What was it again? The Human Misery in Decline. That was it. Really, really cool record. This one comes at just shy of 40 minutes, I think, if I remember rightly. But this has got a lot of kind of sort of think. Well, again, maybe it's like sort of more modern Putridity kind of sound. Early Condemned. Whatever bands are there, sort of, or maybe even some later Condemned. You know, like what was it? Shadow of His Creation, or whatever that album was called. Cool album. So this has got some very, very cool parts in it. The drumming is fantastic. It's just who does the drums? Yeah, so Canamith, that's his name, as the Travie there. Fantastic drummer, very Putridity sounding sort of drums going on. Really cool vocals, nice and low. Again, plenty of technical stuff going on here, but plenty of heaviness and groove as well to keep you nodding. And it's just, again, for the most part, speed is the name of the game on this record, and the drums sound fantastic. Like the snare is just it cuts through the mix perfect. It's just got a lot of aggression, a lot of attitude, and a lot of brutality that I know you kids will love. And this is one of those more sort of a cleaner produced kind of records, but at the same time, but it is no fucking, it's not squeaky clean, it ain't polished or nothing, but you can hear everything that's going on. The mix sits really, really nicely, and it is very, very cool. And it's got a it's got a cover of a band on here as well called Pudritionville, which is the second track apparently, Millennial Massacre of Thoughts, which is kind of weird, you know, having a cover that early on in an album, but hey, do what you want, it's their thing, isn't it? And Rudy Gorging Suicide did the artwork there apparently, but very, very cool stuff. Like if you dig stuff like trying to think now, maybe some of the newer like Cenotaph stuff, you know, maybe not quite as fiddly, but definitely like if you're into the heavy gear and you like that low end, this is definitely a band to pick up. They're all about that fucking speed and nastiness. I'm going to think of like a million bands that you can compare this to afterwards, but the mind just goes blank. It's annoying is what it is. Very. But definitely worth your guys' time. And hopefully if enough of you get interested and buy a load of their stuff, they might come back. Who knows? But probably not. They've not been together now for like, well, coming up to 7 years. I think it is 2019. They split up, so is what it is, but whatever. Now, from the US, let's get a bit more over to the States, shall we? Let's talk about the band here. This is not a particularly old band, and I've seen some of you guys mention these boys as well, but there's for the most part, again, I talk to a load of people and they're like, oh yeah, they'll say like they've either not heard of it or it'll be, oh yeah, I've seen them around, but I just didn't check them out because blah, 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 or whatever, which is fine. But it's a shame because we've got here an absolutely banging album. We've got 12 songs coming in at about 20 minutes, and this is the US band Gargling. And this is an absolute belter. If you're more into your sort of slam-induced stuff, this is a good way to go. This is out on Lifeless Chasm, and this is, again, Depraved Ingestion of Cranial Discharge. Now, I've not had this record for very long, but it's been on my radar for a while to try and get, because I do enjoy it, and I'm a bit more fussy when it comes to my slam, but this is like dirty slam. This is like horrible. It looks like that. You know, it's what it sounds like too. It's just absolutely nasty. It's got a bit of the older polished thing to it, but not to the point where it sounds really, really overly digital and just not human. It's a nice little card as well. You know, Brutality don't have lyrics. There it goes, isn't it? Look at these guys. But yeah, just two lads doing their thing. Their EP as well is absolutely fantastic. That's raw as balls, that is. So definitely worth getting hold of. So there's your artwork here. So these guys have the speed behind them, of course, but they experiment a lot more with the sort of mid-paced and slower breakdown stuff, like I mentioned. It's a bit more of a slam edge to these guys. But by no means sit there and think to yourself, oh god, another slam band. No, 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 no. These guys have got flavour. You know, this, yeah, because I'm like a lot of the time with like slam bands, like I said, I'm very, very fussy. Like, I have slam records, but not many, you know. I find most of it to be quite boring. I used to call it a slam by numbers. In fact, when I used to do reviews and stuff, on like written reviews, I mean. But yeah, gargling. Ooh, definitely worth checking out. So this, I believe, is on Spotify as well, so that's good. And like I said, all these are on YouTube, so no need to worry there. But yeah, look at that. Look at shitloads there. Look, again, 12 songs, like I say, in about 20 minutes. So really, really cool. This was put out by Lifeless Chasm. And this is only a few years, yeah, a couple of years old. Yeah, 2023 this one came out. And I remember, I think it was on Instagram a couple of years back, I saw it was like floating about. I thought, that's pretty cool. Gave it a listen, really enjoyed it, couldn't find it anywhere. And then recently stumbled across it on Rotten Music and was like, well, I'm having that. And I'm glad I did. So mine. Really, really good stuff. And again, like I say, a lot of people I show it to, and they're like, oh man, I never knew this band existed. And like, well, you do now. Let's do another one from the US, seeing as we're over there, shall we? And this is a fantastic album, absolutely sadistic and brutal, and this field of serial killer stuff. And who knows, and the bass on here as well sounds absolutely banging, just absolutely cracking. And this is Divine Pustulence, Tortured, Raped, and Sacrificed to Satan. I mean, if that ain't a fucking name for a record, I don't know what the fuck is. And this sounds exactly as you think. It is fast, it is nasty, it is raw, it is just fucking angry. Just a 3-piece there, as you can see, there they are. Dead. Still going though, which is nice. And you've got that sort of altar there, look, with the sacrifice going down. Oh yeah. You got your lyrics and whatnot, sort of plain and simple on the inside there, no sort of bonus artwork or nothing, just plain and simple, which is you know, cool. But we do like that extra artwork, don't we, boys and girls? We like the extras. That's what it's all about. There's a CD there, look. Oh yeah. And then you've got the Christian fish, but of course Albert fish. Gives me a chuckle, to say the least. But yeah, really, really, really cool stuff. Again, this sounds a little bit like Flesh Torture, if you're aware of them, of course. Again, it's just all about that low end, but also got a sort of more old school riffs as well. But it isn't like tuned. I think this is probably in like, I don't know, by the sound of it, maybe in like C standard, maybe. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But really, really cool stuff out of Vrico Blast Production. But these guys are from Chicago, I believe, which is pretty cool. Probably wrong. But how many songs we got here? I think it's about 10 on this one as well, isn't it? So there's quite a few actually. I don't know. I never fucking go through them, but the numbers, no numbers. That pisses me off. So hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's pretty cool. All right, 14. Yeah, 14. But really, really good stuff. About half hour long, maybe. Like, I think it's like 33 minutes, something like that. Loaded with samples. If you like your samples, this has got plenty of them. All serial killer kind of thing. And what's interesting is that this band has a song on here called She Died a Virgin, as does that Posse on the album. And they both use samples of the same like Albert Fish quotes. So I believe it's Albert Fish anyway. You know, the one where he's like, I did not fuck her though. I could have, but you know, but you just let her instead over a period of 9 days. But yeah, this has got all this sort of stuff on the Columbine massacre, because just rob them, rape them, rob them all, kill them all. I think that's a like John Wayne Gacy or something. There's a couple of here on there about him. Yeah, he loves a bit of that. But yeah, really cool stuff. Again, just like sort of think Lust of Decay, you know, sort of early Lust of Decay sort of stuff. Very reminiscent of that, particularly in sort of style and production-wise. So really, really cool stuff. Divine Pustulence. Fantastic band. And when did this come out? This was a while ago now, I believe. Does it say? No, it doesn't say anyway. It probably does somewhere. But oh yeah, so this was like, yeah, 2009. I think this came out 2008, 2009, something like that. But again, fantastic record. Gets spun here many, many times. Okay, we've got 2 more to go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at Japan, shall we? Now, this is a very interesting one. This has got all that. This is a sort of technical, brutal death metal, but it's got loads of very, very strange time signatures in it. Some nice jazzy parts going on here and there. In the song Bones of Misery, it does go a little gay at one point, but other than that, the rest of the album's flawless. And that is from the band Viagra. Not Viagra, Viagra. And oh yeah, that's the little like U strip thing that comes with some of these things out of Blood Curdling Enterprise, and this album's, yeah, Gehenna, or Gehenna, however you pronounce that. Monsters, as we like. And look at that, tree monsters, all coming out. That they're having a right old time. They're loving it. But yeah, you got some really interesting drum work on here. Like there will be like triplet blasts and stuff, and sort of like polyrhythms here and there, but not in like a sort of trendy, look at what we're doing. But because this is still a brutal death metal record, like don't get it twisted or nothing. This still does what it is you want your brutal death metal records to do. Like I say, there's that one bit in the song Bones of Misery, which is track 8, was it? Yeah, there's 12 tracks on here altogether, rolling in at about 50 minutes. So got a bit of prog stuff on there. Very sort of a lot of Defeated Sanity influences, I'd say, on this record, for sure. And so very, very cool stuff there. Lots of experimental sort of leads higher up on the neck. A lot of bass work going on. Everyone brings their A game. And it's very sort of a Warhammer look in there. Look, very cool. That's sort of I mean, the kids call them Maggotkin now, but back in my day, they were just called Chaos Demons. You know, with the like plague bearers and whatnot. But it is what it is. The old what was he called now? Nurgle and what? And you know, not the Pratt from Behemoth. No, yeah, these guys. You know, the bloke who makes up stories about YMCA's kicking him out for wearing stuff, and he's like, I just like to stir shit. Oh, wanker. But yeah, really, really cool record. Like all of these, really, because well, I said so. So therefore, it is a fact. But if you want something a little bit more different that still feels very familiar, I very much recommend this. I haven't heard anything else by this band, because this is one of those ones. I heard this and I thought, well, this feels like enough. I feel satisfied with this. Once I hear this, I'm happy. Not in a bad way, but I feel very content and happy to listen to something else, like something different afterwards. So one of those sort of records. But this is an absolute belter. Really enjoyed it. If any of you guys have heard their other stuff and say, Aaron, you're missing out, it's really, really cool, I might check it out, but we will see. So Viagra, Gehenna, really, really cool band out of Japan. And here's the last one. And this one was from 2013, 2014, I think. What does it say? Nah, can't even find it. No, who cares? Maybe 2014, maybe? Something like that. Can't remember. But yeah, and this is can't even fucking talk properly. This is Rotten Flesh Macabre by Poland's Incinerator. And this is absolutely naughty. If you like your old school death metal, like the brutal stuff, like your Cannibal Corpse or Desecration, maybe a bit of early Gorgasm, the sprinkling of those sort of internal bleeding demos, then this is for you guys, definitely. A bit of Deranged in there, maybe, but very, very cool stuff. Catchy, brutal, old school sounding, but with a nice modern flair to it, but really, really impressive. This is the EP. It's only got the 5 tracks on here, but oh, believe you me, you do not feel shortchanged or robbed on this bad boy. This does everything. This comes to play. This does what it says on the tin, and it absolutely smooth. I mean, let's look at this artwork again, for fuck's sake, shall we? Look at him. He's on top of a tomb, getting his graveyard stuff on, zombified, very Tales from the Crypt, very sort of a Return of the Living Dead kind of feel. That old school CD look, oh yeah, all about that. But yeah, this is groovy, heavy, catchy, brutal, raw, but also to the point where you can actually hear everything as well. So very, very good stuff from Poland. Incinerator, Rotten Flesh Macabre. Definitely worth picking up. Whole thing's up on YouTube, like I say, and just make that happen as soon as you possibly can. But until you do that, that is going to be all from me today. And I just want to make a big shout out as well to the Death Doom Metalhead on YouTube. You can find his link to his page below. He gave me a shout out a few weeks ago. Now I only just found out about it today. But yeah, seems like a nice, cool dude. He showed me a few bands on his channel that I was looking at that I haven't checked out yet, and some of them definitely caught my attention. Like one band, for example, called Grada. Was and had ex-members of the band Winter, which is a very cool band in my opinion. But yeah, support the underground. Let me know what you thought of this video. How many of these have you heard of? Are any of them overlooked in your circles? And again, I'm not going to argue with any of you, but let's just have a nice cool one, shall we? Let's just chill it out down there. Get this party started. So I'll catch you guys soon. Support the underground, your local record store, and get to a show from time to time.